Hello everyone and welcome back to the Manners Matter lessons. My name is Jacqueline Hendricks, the creator of the Manners Matter class for my Girl Scout Gold Award, and today we are going to be doing our first actual lesson, which is the teamwork and sportsmanship session. So basically what we're going to do is go through the activities, look at the worksheets, and then talk about the discussion that you can have with the class that you're hosting. So let's get started. We're going to kind of go in order that is in the lesson plan. So first, you're going to do the what is sportsmanship activity. Now the supplies you're needing is very simple. You can do this a couple of different ways. You can either have them write on a chalkboard or a whiteboard, or you can even just have them write on a piece of paper. And you're obviously going to need something to write with, depending on where they're going to be writing. Now you can either pair them together or have them do it individually, but basically you're just going to have them write one word or maybe a few words about what they think teamwork is. The purpose of the activity is to kind of see what the students already know about sportsmanship or teamwork and what is necessary in order to be a good team player. So after a certain amount of time, have them go up and share their ideas with the whole class and kind of get some feedback from the other students, and maybe you could even elaborate on their idea, things like that. So that's the first activity, to kind of see what they already know about teamwork and sportsmanship. The next is a discussion. So using their answers, you can kind of say exactly what it is. So I have given right here the definition of teamwork, of sportsmanship. And basically, it's the ability to be polite and courteous while participating in a game or athletic event. And being respectful is one of the main mannerisms in being a team player. So it's about working with other people and being able to support them, not drag them down. And then I gave some positive and negative examples of sportsmanship. You can kind of read them here for yourself, but some positives are not trash talking, playing by the rules, respecting others, stuff like that. And the negative examples are being rude, bragging about your talent, or even arguing with coaches or officials about a call that they've made. So this is kind of the discussion. You can do this in a few different ways. I just kind of went up and talked to them about this part. We already did the what is sportsmanship activity, but if you wanted, you could ask them, what do you think are some positive examples of sportsmanship? Or you could say, what are some negatives that you think are out there? And then use these ones. Now we're going to go to some activities. Now I kind of did an activity, then went back and talked about it, and then went back to an activity. Here's an activity, role playing. The students that I hosted had an amazing time with the role playing. They kept asking throughout the week, hey, can we do more role playing activities? So they really liked this one. Basically, you're going to go to page 3 in the appendix, which I have open right here. So page 3. So this is the worksheet that you're going to have. Before you do this activity, you're going to want to cut these strips out. So just cut right between the two and then fold them up, put them in a hat or a container and have them draw. So you will need to cut them up beforehand, but that's about it. The students are going to act out positive and negative examples of sportsmanship. So again, you can either do this in groups or individually. I had them do it in groups, and I gave them each 2 or 3 slips, so that way they could get some more out of the time I gave them. And basically, they're going to read their script and then present them in front of the class. After they present, the audience will have to guess whether it was a good or bad example of sportsmanship. So that's kind of how it goes. It says exactly the scenario that's going to happen, but the cool thing is the students can kind of take their own version of it and have some real fun with it. The good examples are all on top and the bad examples are on the bottom. So one of the examples of a good is your team just lost the big game. Your team goes to the other and congratulates them on the win and shakes their hands. So they could say, you get to be the winning team, you could be the losing team, and then they act it out in front of the class. And some bad examples, the referee missed a foul by the other team. You argue with the referee that the other team made a mistake instead of calmly telling your coach. So that was a bad example. There's 5 of each. What I did is before the audience guessed whether it was a good or bad example, I kind of made them explain what happened so that way everyone kind of had an understanding in case there was some confusion. So the next one is a hula hoop game. You will need hula hoops for this. You're going to have the students stand in a circle holding hands, and the objective is to get the hoop from one person to the other without letting go of each other's hands. So you're going to have to step through and maneuver the hula hoop around everyone so that way it gets all the way back to the start without any breaks in the holding hands. Now, the purpose of this game is to really work with teamwork. So working with each other to get the hula hoop over another person is really important, and that works with the whole teamwork perspective. The next activity is a manners match. This is page 4 in the appendix, so we're just going to come back over here. And this is the manners match. It's 2. I put 2 on a sheet, so you would just cut down the middle. And essentially how this activity works is they would look at this one and then have to match it over here with the right response. For example, what should you say if you walk in front of someone? You would probably go down here and say, "Excuse me," and just give them as much time as they need. And one of the last activities is a passing game. So you can use different sized objects. I just used different sized balls. I had like a basketball, like a foam dodgeball, and a football. Those are the ones I use, but you can use whatever you want. And they're all going to stand in a line facing one direction, and then you're going to tell them which part of the body they can use to give the ball off to the next person. So one of them was like elbows, wrists, knees, all that type of stuff. And the objective is to get the ball from one end to the other without touching the floor. So they had a really good time with this one. You can really have some fun with this one, and it's, again, working with the teamwork and the sportsmanship, having to pass the ball from one person to the next without it going on the floor. So they had a lot of fun with that one, I think. Here's another thing. Sportsmanship and teamwork go hand in hand. So in most cases, being a good sport means getting along with people of your own team. However, it's not only in sports, but also in daily life. So whether you're working at groups in school or doing chores with a sibling, working together and using teamwork is always a good way to get things done quicker. So I kind of explained this to them, and I asked them a question. I said, how many of you have to do chores with your other siblings? And, some of them raised their hand, and I said, okay, so when you do this, do you guys argue a lot, or do you work together? And what do you think is the most effective? So they would say, well, we work together because when we have to take out the trash, if one of us gets the upstairs, one of us gets the downstairs, it goes a lot quicker. If there's time left, I did these for an hour and a half every day, so depending on the time you have left, we'll decide if you do these. But creating the tea party invites. At the end of the week, I hosted a huge tea party to kind of show parents what their kids had learned. That's what I did to kind of wrap up the week, which is what I recommend. So doing a tea party invite works with how to write an invite to a party. So the supplies needed, page 5 and 6 in the appendix. So this is page number 5. This is the invite. You can kind of cut these down. I had to cut this border off because it was kind of big. But this is the page where they would write their invites, and then this is what they write. They would write, "Please join me for a tea party to show you manners I learned this week." Then they would write the date, the time, the school, and, if you're working with a park and rec. You could customize this however. I did it with schools, so that's why it says school. That gets them practicing writing invites, and they could, apply this to parties and, things like that in their lives. They will take it home and give it to someone that they want to attend the party on Friday if you are hosting that. And the other thing that is a week-long activity that is going to be passed out on the first day is the My Good Manners chart, which is page 7 in the appendix. This is what it looks like. Now, what I did with these, again, you would just cut these down the middle. I had them write their name, and then they would have to check every one of these throughout the week, and then have their parents sign on this line, even though it says other. That's where I got their parents' signature. At the end of the week, I would give them a prize if they had done all of these things and turned it in. Something I did to kind of make sure that they had actually done everything and not just checked them all off. tried a new food. That's probably one of the hardest ones up here. So when they turned it in, I said, hey, what food did you try? To kind of make sure that they actually did the things on the chart. So they could turn these in anytime throughout the week. That concludes the teamwork and sportsmanship video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just remember to kind of interchange between activities and discussions to make sure that they keep engaged and they're not doing all the activities at the same time. Once again, this is Jacqueline Hendricks, the creator of the Manners Matter class. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the videos to come.